Good morning, good morning, good morning. We got Miss Moffin and myself on here. I've had like a 3 week break, so it feels so good to be back on everything and talking to people as we talk about public education. And want to apologize for being late. It was the weirdest, unfortunate thing. My hand is messed up. And as I was driving back home, I saw a young man just brutalized and picking her up and trying to get her back into the car. And it just, you think once, you think twice, and say, should I stop? Should I get involved? Do I have enough gusto to if things turn ugly? And I couldn't let it go and had to stop and make sure that young lady was all right. But it's like the world we live in now. You just never know what's going on. Never know what's going on. How you doing, Miss Moffin?
I'm doing great,
How's your week started off?
as you know, but it's been okay. We finally got my daughter registered at Republic, so
Okay.
after a lot of kinks and stuff, but other than that, it's been great.
Yes, yes. How's overall summer just overall just with just living and just taking a little bit of a summer break. How has that been?
Well, it's been a blessing being able to do virtual summer school, ESY or summer
Okay,
school, whichever way you call it. It made life a lot easier.
okay, okay. Let me do something because let's see. Let me see if this popped up. It may have deleted Miss Moffitt because right now I don't see anybody in it. It hasn't popped up for me. I may have to do a quick restart. I knew stopping was gonna put me behind on the video because they give you like 10 minutes. Let's see. Nashville Propel. Okay, there we go. All right. All right. So as people come in, Nashville Propel. Okay, start to please share this out and let us know you are here. We are getting up and running. I got the wonderful Miss Moffin on with me today, who I haven't seen or talked to in a while. And so just really excited to get back in the forefront. We got a lot of things going on, Miss Moffin. We got TN ready scores. We have cut that down. We got TN ready scores. We have school getting ready to start back. So we got back to school bashes. We got school orientation. We still got some families picking schools. And so it is going to be a busy next 24 to 30 days before we start back the regular school year.
Yeah, well, I have to give us our flowers,
Okay.
especially since I have joined my extended family. I just want to maybe a testimony for the whole group. A lot of parents, talking, understanding, and a lot of you did before when I doing school choices and the real like I did, Miss Kendall, and I went back and thank you for the understanding. So I'm grateful for Natural Propel, and I just want to give us our flowers right now.
Well, we appreciate that, and we just know that the only way we're successful is when we have successful families. Like the network is what we work on, what we strive for. Because when it's just you, or it's just me, or it's just Sonya, or any other propel powerful, propel powerful parent leader, it's hard. I mean, the schools sometimes they don't understand, or they might think they got a lot going on, so they may not even be listening. But it's amazing when we learn how to say the right words, we learn how to go to the right people, and we learn how to demand, not just ask, but demanding the things that we need for our kid or our kids. And so it's a group effort.
Yes, it is.
So one of the things that I want to start on just with the first video, and like I said, people just start sharing it. I want to start with it was an article released this morning that really started to highlight the TN ready scores. And I have some opinions, but I also want to make sure we get a chance to read a little bit through the article, Ms. Moffin, and then get the perspective from other parents on what they think and how they think. And that is something that I'm going to pull up. But yeah, just be ready to share your perspective because I think it's important as we read this to get different viewpoints on how we all feel. And I'll pull it up now. All righty. Let's see. Let me do it like that. How does that look? Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, let's see. So I'm gonna go through. So the headline, let me break it down, is as Nashville schools celebrate improving student scores, achievement gaps remain consistent. And before we get into the article, just the title itself, if Nashville, as Nashville schools celebrate improving student scores, achievement gaps remain consistent. And as you read that headline, like, what does that say to you, Ms. Moffin? Like, the achievement improves, but the achievement gap remains the same. What does that mean to you?
We're still failing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said before in the meeting, you want to celebrate that we're back where we were, but if from 0 to 69 is an F, and you went from 0 to a 50, you're still in the F.
Yeah,
That's not passing.
yeah.
It's still an F. I don't give a darn.
Yeah, and I think that's the hardest thing. I think my sentiment is on a couple of levels. Like one, the achievement gap remains, and we'll go into the numbers. But I also think even as the numbers have grown, once the scores are finalized, I'm still gonna say a super majority of kids are not getting what they need academically for a number of reasons that we need to figure out. But again, the score is like it's growth that I hear them saying, but I'm almost sure a super majority of the kids have not received um, the proper education to get them where they need.
Exactly.
Yeah, somebody says, let me pull this through. Good morning. Good morning, whoever the Facebook user is. And then
Good morning.
then somebody asks, why are we celebrating? And I think that's hard. And so I'm going to go a little bit more into the article and just kind of break down what we're celebrating. And it says Metro Nashville Public School students are mostly seeing testing at pre-pandemic levels in reading, which, was 2019 and past. And though only 24.9% of MNPS students in grades 3 to 8 tested on or above grade level in reading this spring, compared to about 34.8, let's say 35% of their peers statewide. But it says MNPS saw progress in all but one subject area, which is biology, but they still lag behind. And then I'm going to just go through, and it just says only about 24.9% of Metro school students in grades 3 through 8 scored on track or mastered in English language arts this school year, compared to 17.8% in 2021 in the midst of a pandemic, and increased by 7.1 percentage points. Statewide, 34.8% of Tennessee students in grades are scoring on track in ELA, compared to 28% in 21, an increase of about 6.7 percentage points. And so I think I'm gonna come back to it. And so, as we look at that, and sorry I didn't have it up there. Let me take this down. As we look at this, just so you guys can see, it says only about 24.9% of students in grades 3 through 8 scored on track or mastered in English. And it says, pre-pandemic, well, in the pandemic, it was 17.8. Now we're at 24.9. And as we think about it, one of the things that we were talking about as Propel, Ms. Moffin, was even before the pandemic, the scores were critically low. And we know when the pandemic hit, the scores dropped. But as Rhea said, as I see now, why are we celebrating? And so as you look at this, like, what are some of the things that come top of mind for you, Ms. Moffin?
Only 36% of our children might be able to read a contract or count their own money, or however you want to put that. I mean, that's what that tells me. How can you have economic freedom when you can't even process or understand the contracts and what you're doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'll tell you, I ran track as a kid and played football, and I think this the celebration part is like until, it's 8 racers. I didn't come in first, second, third, or fourth. The first race I came in eighth. The second race and the third race I came in seventh. And so I've had growth, but we didn't go home and celebrate. We said, hey, we got to keep working hard. Like, hey, one pat, a couple of pats on the back. You got to keep growing. You're heading in the right direction. But we didn't have a party for me being in seventh place after I moved up from eighth.
That's like you getting paid to show up for work, but you didn't do no work. No, just because you there, that don't count.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
got to put in the work.
Amen. And let me do this, guys. Let me do this. I just gotta. I'm gonna stop and then I'm gonna restart, Miss Mop, and give me about 5 minutes because someone said that the notification just went out. Um, Let me get through this and restart it and see if we can resend the notification.
Okay.